All right. Okay. So my nephew was shooting at some pop cans. I see. Did he hit it though? There's dents on it. But I don't know. I have to test him out with his pellet gun. My nephew lives with me now. So does my brother and my sister-in-law. And you can see, okay, just as to finish up on the burns, all this, okay, maybe not this year, but probably by next spring, you're gonna see chickens, maybe even a goat and a pig in here, potbelly pig. Always wanted to own a potbelly pig, like a miniature potbelly pig. I know they don't stay miniature for very long, but I wanted a potbelly pig just because I'm gonna call him Wilbur. Why Wilbur? Because that is the proper name for a pig. Okay, so there's the fence line up there again, that road there. We've always kept that open. I'm not sure what that tree, if that's an elm or something. I'm not sure what it is. Just grows straight, but I'd like to keep that. But everything else on the other side, I'm going to ask my uncle if I can just knock it all down. Because I want to see if I can get as much sun to those apple trees as possible. This apple tree I got to prune up. This is the year to do it. This isn't the fruit year. But if I prune it this year, next year that'll be just like apples the size of baseballs. Like man dies from giant apple falling on head from 2 feet. You know what I mean? That's what I want. Is that kind of? I don't want to be the man that it falls on, but so I got all that to clean up. So okay, so this was my grandmother and grandfather's house. Okay, 7 kids grew up in here and 2 adults, and I believe it was like the late 1970s, early 1980s before they got electricity in here. You can see the house has got a bit of a, it's got character. We'll call it character. That's the, well, it's just a sound point. Well, more water than you can shake a stick at. Water's one of the issues with this building, but we'll get into that as we get into that. The porch was built when I was a kid, my cousin and I, and there used to be a splice between the porch and the woodshed. And I remember when that was a kid, and that was basically my grandfather's woodshed. So I'd help him uh, basically put wood in there. We'd ride on the tractor, the old 8N Ford. He had an 8N Ford. The Papa, I call it the Papa Wheelie tractor. It's like the shortest little tractor. Like every time you take off, like the front 2 wheels are in the air. But anyway, yeah. So my brother. Okay, so my grandmother passed away in 2012, 2014. God rest her. And my cousin moved in for about a year and a half, and my brother was living across the road. Yeah, I can't see that place anymore either. Um, and Anyway, after she moved out, she moved where my other cousin is now, and then she moved back with her mom up the road, and her brother moved in. My other cousin moved over there. I got a lot of family, okay? And My brother and my sister-in-law, and then of course my nephew, were here for the last past, I guess, 10 years or whatever. And Let's go in. So these are the first 2 items: the drum pedal case and my chainsaw files. I got some stuff there that I already brought down. I'll leave that open. That's most of the stuff is going to be mine. Okay, so there's the security lock. Everything in this house is pretty rickety. So okay, so there you go. My brother was in here this morning. Oh, he cleaned up even more. Nice. Open this. I can hear the fish pump thing. I'm just gonna leave that. Well, there's a step ladder there, but I don't think it's high enough. Okay, so my dad was born right beside the garbage can. The garbage can wasn't there at the time, but that's where my dad was actually born, because I believe from about here to there is a part of the old house that used to be right where about that lilac bush is right there. And my grandfather dragged it over, added the new part, and the rest is history. So, as you can see, it's not the biggest place in the world. You've probably seen the inside of this house a few times on the channel, maybe definitely the old channel. So this was the infamous junk drawer that you could find just about. I'm sure Jimmy Hoffa's body was in there at one point. Okay, so my brother moved out for a reason. Okay, and most of you that know old houses, you're probably going to figure out that reason before I even tell you. These are the old windows. I can get them open. There's a way to. There's a way. You need 2 hands to open those windows. But I got the front door open for now. Okay, so I'm gonna start right here. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to go out to come back in. My grandmother and grandfather, okay, like I say, they didn't have hydro in here. There's a chimney that used to be right here before the veranda. Well, even when the veranda was on, we did that. Okay, that'll explain a lot. Yeah. Ventilation, guys, ventilation. We're gonna be talking a lot. You're gonna get sick of that word ventilation. You are gonna get airflow and ventilation are gonna be two words you are gonna get so freaking sick of. I hope this will open it up. Oh yeah, that still slides okay. There you go. Get some air in here. Okay, so my grandmother used to have a wood cook stove right where the washer machine is, right there, and the pipe went up there and out the wall there. The hole's somewhere behind this thing here. And after my grandfather he passed away in 1986. God rest him. The grandpa chair used to always be right there, so that chair there might be staying. This couch is going, but that's where grandpa had his chair and his pipe. TV was there. There used to be a coal oil stove. Yes, coal oil stove. That's how old this place is. If you don't know what that is, exactly. That's how old it is. What happened was, because my grandmother was born in 1923 and my grandfather was born in 1901, they grew up, okay, they're not baby boomers. They predate the baby boomers. They're the silent generation or the great generation, right? Of course, my grandfather was in World War II, like most grandfathers of that generation. And basically, they grew up on wood stoves and no hydro and drafty houses, okay? Now, despite what you're going to find on the internet and everything about drafty houses, okay? Drafty houses are bad for efficiency, right? Which is a good thing. That's a good thing. Why? Because drafty houses have airflow, lots of airflow. I know you're going to get sick of the word. You're probably getting sick of the word already. So grandma had the stove here. After my grandfather passed away, my grandmother kept the temperature in here between Venus, Mars, and surface of the sun at all times, all year round. Why? Because you got up in the morning, first thing you do is just boil a pot of water. The stove was right there. There was a stove right there, but that cost money to run that. Grandma used, my grandmother. I mean, she was a little kid in the Great Depression. $2 even until the day she died. $2 was a lot of money for her. You know what I mean? Like she was very frugal about, not wasting money, right? So if she could shut something off, she would shut something off. Lights didn't stay on. If you left the light on, shut the light off. You're not using it. You know what I mean? But that's how they were, right? So of course, my grandmother died in her 80s, and like most people in her 80s, before she went to the home, she was in here. She fell a few times, and that's when the family decided to put her in the home. But long before that, we were worried about her burning the house down. So we took the wood stove out. So, and of course, other things took place, such as, well, I'm going to go back outside again. There's going to be a lot of in and outs in here. The junk you see, that's my brother's. He's still working on it. Coming, bringing stuff home, throwing stuff out. It's a big job to move. Whenever you move, that's when you realize how much junk you actually have. That roof is 15 years old, maybe 20 years old. It was a year or two before my grandmother died. They put in this roof, so the roof is actually pretty good. The roof screws even look good. I might not have to climb up there and give them. I might go up there and put some tar on them just cause the house does shift around. So new roof, starting to seal things up. Had that that foam insulation apparently that you blow around. Not apparently, but the stuff you blow around. Well, I think that's what's in the attic, and my brother said it's all shot to shit now, but that would have kept a lot more moisture in, right? Less airflow. Then we're gonna go in the basement, down into the dark basement. It's not just the basement; it's the dark basement. Where the hell's the light for this? Okay, now you're gonna get a lot of explanations as soon as we come down the stairs here of what the main problem of this house is. You can probably already see the shine. Yeah. So we have a nice flow from there all the way to over there. It's mostly on this side of the basement. But this basement, a couple of years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, my brother had a real bad time. I don't know if I can get this window open. I'm going to have to get these windows open, but I might need two hands to do it. Oh, that's jammed. But anyway, we're going to get some flow down here. But anyway, this basement flooded up to almost 1.5 foot of water in here one time. You can see the wall. There's not that much light down here, I know that. But what's that supposed to be? Oh, that might be for... I don't want to just start flicking switches because I don't know what everything is yet. But anyway, so they took out the wood stove and they put this thing in. But this thing has since been submerged in water. So they didn't like this thing. So they ended up... The family put in... I guess we'll run back upstairs. There's the electrical board was, I think 2 or 3 years ago, my brother had that put in. Hot water tank has a glitch in it. They got it kicks off every now and then. But other than that, it's all working. A lot of cleanup. Oh, just so you know, that shelf there, okay, that was the coal storage. This was more of a coal storage than anything for my grandmother and grandfather, right? But the water that runs in here pretty much all year round, and I'll get into why that probably is because I'll have to investigate a lot of stuff. But anyway, long story short, the final... Hey, how do I keep this open? You have to get a heavy object of some sort. I'll deal with that in a minute. The final... Oh, perfect. This is what we need here. The final thing was they put in electric heat. So now you've got a house that doesn't ventilate very well, has a lot of moisture buildup in the basement. Yes, the M word comes into play. And with 3 people and 2 dogs, although one dog just got put down because poor Sucky, you get about that much water vapor per day with that many people in a house like this, right? Now, that's a lot. It's probably even more than that. Okay, so that has to be aired out. You need the flow. Where does the flow go? Back to a deep tank. Anyway, yeah, so that's how much water vapor has been building up in here. And the problem with that, okay, now I'm not a master contractor, but I have built houses and stuff like that, and I might even learned a thing or two. Not much, but I learned some stuff. And I know airflow is everything. Airflow is everything. What contractors mostly will say is that airflow is a byproduct. Ooh, I got to go through all these pots and pans. I'm going to start opening up cupboards. Get some airflow and everything. Again, it's going to be a big project. It's going to be ongoing, but there's another reason why I got this place rather than just let it sit here deteriorate is because there's the pantry here. It's a good sized pantry. That's the main closet there. So the thing is that with all that moisture buildup, okay, there's another problem, and I'm not picking on my brother. I love my brother, but okay, we'll go in the bathroom here just to show you. I can't turn lights on. Yeah, I can turn lights on. That's right. This bathroom, okay, these are old single pane windows. You'd probably say, why would anybody put that? Because Grandma and Grandpa were poor. That's why we got single pane windows. And they grew up with a drafty house, so they just threw more wood in the fire, right? But there's no bathroom vent in here, right? And there never was. So that's part of the problem. Okay, we look at the wall down here, so we can see there's moisture that was there. It's not as bad as it's fairly dry, but it's like it's there, right? It needs to be dried out more. There's some of your problem right there. Okay, these old windows, they don't open up, but it's not even that. It's for some reason my brother doesn't like sunlight. Right? And no sunlight. You want as much sunlight in your place as possible. Not enough that it can get hot, but my nephew's room is even worse. And yeah, look out there. Now, mind you, my nephew played video games, my brother played video games. And video game people seem to always want it dark so they can see their video games, right? But, it's not the best thing. And mind you, the other thing, reason why we've got plastic on there is because in the winter time, it's quite drafty in here, right? So I'm gonna let that come in. Got some light in here. This was my grandma and grandfather's room here. This room is going to be very, very special. Very, very special. What I'm gonna do with it. It's going to be a work in process, like a major work in progress, right? So one of the things that I'm going to do, obviously, is get more ventilation here by getting the windows open. The front door has got issues. Yeah, it's like it's jammed shut there now. So the door's swollen, basically. You know, so plants, aquarium, boil a pot of water or two a day, do a laundry, everybody breathing. You're going to get at least a jug or two of that, which is going to lead to a lot of problems, right? So what do you do about it? Well, you can tear down, everybody's, oh, just tear down the house. Just tear down the house, right? I'm like, no. You don't just tear down. Like, it's bad. Don't get me wrong. The mold stuff is bad, right? You can even smell it a bit on the really wet days. Get some airflow. Let's see if this little thing works. I hope it does, because then I can put it in the basement. Yep. So again, start the air moving as soon as you can. 2 weeks from now, okay, it's just going to smell like roses in here. It's not going to be cured the problem, but it's definitely not going to. I'm not going to allow it to get any worse, right? You got to dry it out. Okay, well, I'll deal with that later. But what I'm going to do for now, just get this flowing somewhere. I just want flow. There used to be a ceiling fan in here at one point before we redid the ceiling. The last time it was painted, I know I helped paint it with the rest of the family. And we get that going. Yeah. Let's get some air flowing. Gotta get more windows open. There's the heat. That's for the baseboard heaters. Now, my goal is to put a wood stove probably about right where the aquarium is and come out this way a bit. And go out the side and up. But I got to get that. So if not, yeah, there's a ceiling fan there. There's no fan part on it. But the thing is that my brother was saying, like in the wintertime. Now, mind you, we're going to find out how much harder my brother is on hydro than my dad and I, because we now have my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephew in the house, right? And they kind of have stuff on all the time, where I'm kind of one of those people. I have maybe one light. Wherever I'm at, I have like one light on, maybe a laptop, and then it's going to be the heat. So my brother was paying between $200 and $400 a month hydro in here. And that's, the winter time was, like you said, it's every 2 months though. So you get 6 hydro bills a month, or six hydro bills a year. Okay, and in that time, okay, like for example, like the mustiness in here, like the windows are closed, the curtains are usually closed. He took down those curtains, but it's always dark in here and no airflow. To the attic there, I want to get that open. So I want the air to start to get sucked out the roof, because there's things, right? So there, see that? That's what I want to see. See that paper towel moving? I want to see that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to string up to see where my airflow isn't. I'm going to take like pieces of paper. I'm going to put them above, say, one at the bottom of the stairs there, and one there, and then I'm just going to close everything up, and then as I open stuff, I'm going to see if there's a natural Venturi effect in the house, right? I'm going to put one airflow, or a piece of, right at the, that there, that's going to stay open all summer. I'm just going to let the heat go right up into there. Now, the turbine, I don't know if I'm going to go with the turbine or not on the roof, because I might not have to, but I have to get up there to see, and I remember a few moments ago when I was out on the porch here, you see when they put in the new roof, they sealed all that off. Okay, so how's fresh air going to get up into there? I got like gable ends, but see that ridge cap, I don't know how much air would come out through that ridge cap, right? So the only thing they really have for ventilation for the attic, which would explain why it gets so hot in the summertime in there, is they have that, and then they have the smaller on the other side, which usually is enough to get enough airflow, but you got to calculate it just right, or else you don't get enough. The heat just stays in there, and if the heat stays in there, the condensation stays in there. So I may have to put a turbine on the roof. I just don't know yet if I'm going to go that way or a better vented ridge cap. But again, for now, fans and windows are your friend. My goal is to air it out enough so when I get in here in the wintertime, and I might have to go with the electric heat for this season. I don't want to, but if I can get a wood stove. But I'm also one of those guys that I'm not going to just get a cheap wood stove that I have to replace 5 months or 5 years later. It's like, okay, it does the job. It's either too big or too small, whatever. But if I can find, I got to calculate the floor, right, and of the rooms, okay, to see how much square footage I actually have, and I will pick the stove according to that. But what I really want is an airtight stove that could draft the air from the outside. Those burn the best. They give you the best heat. They give you the best efficiency, and I got to figure out if I can safely build up that wall for the heat in between the two windows. Because I got to look at what all the regulations are, but I'm going to say you got to be at least 18 to 2 feet from the wall with the stove pipe, right? Because you can't be right at the wall; your house will catch fire, right? So, putting in a wood stove, it's not hard, but there is rules, right? There's rules. So this couch is going to go because the dogs have been on that, and they're pretty musty and it stinks. So why would I want to take on a project like this? Well, number one, 5 people up a house, up home. Me being a musician, guess what that means? It means I never get to play. There's always somebody in the house. I never get to play my musician. I never get to play my music again. This will come in handy probably. I've got to clean it, but we're going to start in this room here, my grandfather's room. This was also my nephew's room. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to ask my brother if that was here when he moved in, because that was probably from... I remember a bigger dresser than that, though. That might be one of them. I don't know. I don't think so. But anyway, this room here, okay, is going to be the drum room. Yes, that's going to be the drum room. It's going to be the main room, okay? It's going to be a bed in here, whatever. A bit later on. You're looking at, doesn't look like much now, but you're looking at not a closet, but a vocal booth. Okay. That's going to be a bathroom. This is a bathroom, right? Okay. This is going to be the filming studio. This is going to be Studio B, Studio A, Studio B. Going to be the grandpa chair. That's going to be the blog spot. Going to be the fridge. But I'm going to get a smaller fridge. So these cupboards are going to come out at some point. Basically, what is something... I'm going to switch the camera back so you can see the dramaticness in my face. Can you see my dramatic face right now? Dramatically? I know I'm handsome and everything, but... Okay. What is something I've been complaining about? No, okay, I complain about a lot of things. I know that, caveat. What's something I've needed for years? Not a house. I've needed a garage and a studio, right? Welcome to Reg Studios. Welcome to Reg's Garage. Get it? And I'm going to be having this fairly cheaply per month. So, yes, my cost of living is going to go up a bit. Yeah, of course. But, yeah, so I got a lot of work to do. I got to start cleaning this place. So, I got to get a lot of vinegar for the mold. I got to get ventilation, the windows. I got to get ventilation pulling air out of the basement. For now, fans will work. I gotta wait till my brother gets all of his junk out of here, and then I'm gonna start doing it, because I can't do stuff while there's still still gotta bring. I know what my sister-in-law is gonna do with all these plants. Like there's so many plants. There's plants here. I'm gonna switch it back for you. Oh, okay. No, that's not what I wanted. No. There we go. Yeah, that's what I want. So I don't know what she's going to do with all these plants. That one might be, those two might be able to go to the house, but because there's not, like up home, like we don't have a lot of good windows for plants up there. It's just the way the house is lined up. This house, not too bad, but she's got all these plants too, so yeah, I don't know if she's going to keep them all. Gonna find out one way or another. So I gotta get all this stuff sorted out, but I'm gonna try to get as much stuff down here today. Now this is not insulated or anything, but my motorbike is gonna go right here, guys. Yeah. I gotta grab the table for this here, and this here is gonna be a workbench for all my whippersnippers, stuff like that. There's another whippersnipper back there. I don't know where that one came. Must be my brother's. So yeah, so some stuff is going to stay in here, and I'm going to go through it, and whatever's good I'll keep, whatever's not good I'm just going to chuck it out. But day one, I want to get up into that attic, get the air sucking out of the house as much as possible. I know the eaves on the other side will draft in the air, but the problem is the porch actually is stopping a lot of air flow, because what happens is the air comes out the ridge cap. Okay, the hot air rises, right? So it's supposed to come out the ridge cap, which is what you want, but we got just those. We don't quite have one of those like my uncle. When I put the ridge cap on that one really flows, but it's supposed to draw the air in through the eaves here. So hot air goes out, fresh air comes in. And if you don't have the right amount of air drawing in, you basically get all kinds of condensation in the attic, right? So this is why airflow, airflow, airflow. And like anything, if you don't have airflow, 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 it gets musty, it gets moldy, whatever. Like this door is normally always closed to the basement, right? So no air ever gets in or out of there. And the problem is that mustiness is going to go somewhere, right? It's going to come up through the floor, whatever. So just by airing things out, that's like 90% of your problem, right? So for the first season, yeah, it's going to be rough in here. So I'm still going to stay up at the house for most night. Like I might spend a night or two down here just to see how it is. But it'll probably be about 3 or 4 weeks before I even attempt that. Why? Because I want to air it out enough that it's tolerable, right? Again, like taking a shower, just breathing. The aquarium, well, that's evaporating water. My brother, like I say, in the summertime, mainly he had an air conditioner in the window here, and it just died like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever. So the windows were like never open in here, right? That's a big problem. I forget what he did with it. He chucked. Oh, I think he chucked it over in there. So, and then in the summertime, yeah. So, windows always closed, air conditioner on. Air conditioner, there's moisture right there. There's always moisture. I am going to start running a dehumidifier in here. I got to figure out all the electrical, what's going where, whatever. Got to clean all these. See, I mean, you can even tell like with the rust on the top of you can see right there. That's a spot where there's, like again, these houses weren't. It's probably newspaper in the walls for all I know. But you can deal with that. Vinegar it. They say not to use Javix on vinegar. Best is basically to use vinegar on mold. It will kill the mold. Again, it's bad, but if you can keep the airflow. One contractor, he really put it into perspective. Like a lot of people think, the mold is just, the house poorly built or whatever. That has a part to do with it. But remember, let's go back to what I was talking about. when I was talking about, like my grandmother and grandfather, basically this house was drafty, right? That's always keeps air flowing, right? That airflow is good. So people now think everything of airtight, right? So the house has got to be completely airtight to keep every ounce of energy in the house to save money, which, okay, fine. This is why I like wood heat. You just throw an extra log on there. It's not, you don't have to worry about kilowatt hours, right? Or maybe, I don't know if you get a kilowatt, but it'd be hard on stuff. But big thing is my brother always had lights on all the time, the air conditioner, that spikes the hydro bill, and then the electric heat is the big one, right? So the thing is that if you're not opening the windows in the summertime, okay, when you get the most humidity, the problem you have there is it gets musty, right? Now, in the wintertime, what happens is, when you get those townhouses, there's like 10 houses built side by side, all, joining, partitioning walls. And a contractor will come along, and because there's mold in the place. So they'll go to mold and whatever, and they'll say, okay, no problem. They'll go to the neighbors, no mold. They'll go to the next guy, no mold. Go to the next guy, oh, there's mold. Go to the next guy, there's no mold. And it's like, okay, it should all be mold if it was just a bad building, right? It's not. It's a lifestyle problem. Mold is a lifestyle problem mostly. Because what it is people in the wintertime, okay, you get, it's cold, so they seal up the windows. You see there's plastic on that window. That window doesn't have the plastic on it, but my brother put plastic on it in the summertime, or in the wintertime. And this one, plastic on it, right? For the, no, I just got to pick my cats. Okay. Okay. So let's go to my nephew's room. I'll switch it back. There's a little bit of plastic on there. Okay, so that's vapor barrier, right? Okay, that'll keep the heat in, but that'll also keep the moisture in, right? And then my brother, he did have more on here, but yeah, he took it off. But yeah, that gets covered. Like in the wintertime, I'll probably cover that too. And then eventually I'll replace these windows if I'm here long enough. We'll see what happens, right? Like this might be a complete failure project, but I don't think it's going to be. Just because I know, you know what I mean? And anyway, yeah, so every window pretty much gets covered in the wintertime. Nothing opens. Okay, in the summertime, it's closed, nothing opens. And you never get any airflow, right? So there you go. And then if the attic's not vented properly, the house is not vented properly. If the basement is not vented properly, well, the house isn't going to be vented properly. But for me, the main issue to conquer is getting airflow down here, which we'll go back down here again. There's not a lot of light down here. But the main thing down here, okay, is to get these windows open and allow air to come through. Now, I probably need both hands to do it. And once I start doing that, yeah, like that's really, really, really swollen up. I'll start with a dehumidifier down here because I have one. I have two, actually, access to two. Get that window open, that window open, that window open. That's part one. But even before I worry about opening that window, now on the other side of this wall, I'll show you it's just sand, it's just a crawl space on the other side there. I got to show you that because that's probably where most of the moisture is coming in from, right? I got to air that out. But you see there's pipes all over the place, right? And my brother took most of them out, but you can see all these pipes. I'm gonna reuse those to duct airflow the way I want. So maybe I just put a big central fan down here, vent everything right out the. Yeah, see, there's a vent right there, right? So that's probably a fresh air vent right there. Get that air flowing right out the house. Go all the way around the house, and yeah, let's go look around the house there, because this is a big critical thing. A lot of people, they think cutting your grass is just an aesthetic. It's a little bit more than that. Um, you see, you got siding, right? So you can see the siding's kind of, kind of rough, right? It's plastic siding, but it's kind of rough. Ooh, dog crap. Still landmines down here from Kita. Ugh, I'm sure we don't drag that all over the place. But you can see the base here, it's all covered. What happens when the foliage goes up tight against the house like that, a lot of times the moisture gets sucked up into the siding, right? So it's like you want to have some airflow around the bricks. And not only that, airflow, not restricting the windows, right? So you start getting those things sorted out. Before you know it, you know, you can start getting good airflow in there. You're gonna start to clear it out. Now you won't get rid of all the mold, but you can get it under control, right? And I think this is, again, like I say, my brother, my sister-in-law never opened the windows. They only opened the windows maybe the past week or so, 2 weeks, because of the just due to the what you call it, the air conditioner breaking down. Other than that, again, my sister-in-law, phenomenal cook. She'll boil, but she boils like, big things of water for noodles and stuff like that, right? That's got to come out. The shower, that moisture's got to come out. Like if your house is taking on about 2 or 3 of these a day, and this is any house, like you are a moisture source. Sorry, swallowed a piece of dust or something there. You are a moisture source. You're gonna fill the house with about that much every day. That's what's sticking to your walls. That's what where the moisture's coming from. Now the other moisture, the stuff you see against the walls, I'll go against the white wall here. What that is the cold coming through, then condensating, right? And that's where you get that. Now you can paint over it, but there's no point painting over it unless you neutralize it. You got to neutralize it with vinegar. If not, the black will just come right through the paint. So ceiling's not too bad. Anyway, I'm gonna pause it here. So this is basically this is what I've been kind of teasing you guys that I was going to be up to, and the past couple about month. I didn't want to just come out right and tell like I just started telling my clients and that the other day that you might be picking me up down here until I find a freaking car or whatever. But I told them, like, you're probably going to be picking me up down here because I'm going to keep all my tools and stuff down here. Well, I just make space up home, So I'll be living up home for a long time yet. Maybe, probably even a year. Who knows? But I'm going to have all my stuff down here, which is going to be great. And this is what I can't wait to do. It's like someone walks in my house. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, we friends? Yeah. Get out of my house. I just once in my life want to tell somebody, just get out of my house. No reason. Just because I want to do it. But I'm looking at this more of like a studio, to get my stuff done. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is with so many people in the house. Like, okay, my brother works, I work, my dad's retired, my nephew goes to school, my sister-in-law is going to be home all the time. She's not really known for leaving the house too much, right? That means I won't be able to blog. So this is my blog spot, like I'm doing right now. So uninterrupted blog spot, check. Practice area for music, check. Possibly even teaching music lessons here, check. Reg Studios begins here, check. And if I can ever get enough money flow, maybe I even start charging people to as a studio. We'll see how much I'm gonna do. I don't want to get too rambunctious, but some of the things that you're going to see in the next couple of years is like the soundproofing of the walls and stuff, like not soundproof, but like paneling, just stick-on paneling, stuff like that. Keep it cheap, right? I'm not going to go too nuts with it, but it's going to be a great spot for me to be able to do stuff, right? And I'm really, really excited about it. So I didn't want to tell everybody because my brother, when he decided that he wanted to move back up home. He had a discussion with my dad. My dad said, yeah, sure, no problem. And he said, but he goes, I'm going to take my time at it because, well, you can see there's still a lot of stuff here, but you wouldn't believe how much stuff he actually has, right? So a lot of stuff, it's just like, we've got to okay, get rid of this, get rid of that, throw this out. So it's taken him a couple of months to clean the place out. Trust me, there was about 5 garbage bags here yesterday when I came in. So he's been busting his ass on it, plus he still works, right? And plus, bring stuff up there, you can't just leave it in boxes up there. You got to get it out and get room for more stuff, right? So that's taken a while. So I was going out to the beat of his drum, so to speak, waiting for him to get things done before I tell people, oh yeah, I'm moving in. And because maybe like a month ago he could say, nah, screw it, I'm just gonna stay down here. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know, right? So the bottom line is that it's now a done deal. They're up there, so I know that this place is now vacant. So now that it's vacant, and I got dibs on it, nobody else seemed to want it. And rather than just having everybody else just use it as a storage unit, I'm like, no, this is a great opportunity. Now, this is, again, I think, down the line, they might sell it to me or something like that. Because there is a family clause that my great-grandfather started. My great-grandfather sold the land probably about 80 years ago to my grandfather, right? So the family land's like over 100 years old. And one clause, not clause, but one thing they said was everybody would get an acre. You know what I mean? This here's a little more than an acre with the barns and everything. It's probably more like 2 acres. So what I might have to do, again, if it's worth it for me, if it can come up with a price that I'm 52 years old, right? So they say like $100,000, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, I'm too poor for that, right? You guys know, like, this is the only opportunity I'll ever have to have a house. It's just, unless I win the lottery. It's like, I just cannot work enough hours to do that, right? Most people can't. It's like, housing is completely unaffordable. This house, my dad is like, yeah, we should just bulldoze it. But I'm like, well, if I'm in here, I'll pay enough that I'll cover the taxes. So it's not a burden on any of my other relatives or anything like that. And it could be my forever home if I get it cleaned up right? Now, a lot of work to do? Yes, lots of work to do. But it's also going to be ongoing, and there's no rush. Like, there are certain things, yes, I got to get cleaned out. I got to get the air flowing right away. Like, that's, that'll take probably about 3 weeks before it's like, really tolerable in here. I got to get a wood stove back in here because it'll be cheaper on the heat because I've got access to pretty much enough wood for the rest of my life. There's like 250, 150 or two, I think it's more like 250 acres. And most of it's all hardwood bush. So it's like everybody's cut their wood that burns wood, that's still burning wood of my relatives. Every one of them has cut their wood here. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can buy wood, but my goal is like, you saw me, that's why I was in the mad panic with the chainsaw trying to cut all the wood. But it's late in the season. I wish I would have known about this my brother, if he was thinking about this, I wish he would have brought up the idea, say, in January, so I could start cutting the stove wood in April, March, April, and just, as soon as I was able to get the bush. But I didn't find out about this till about the end of June, right? So we're now, tomorrow, we're 2 days away from September. So obviously cutting wood this time of year, it's for next year. It's not, it's not going to dry enough. So I either have to buy wood, but no point buying wood until I got a stove in. So I might, just because it just might be too much. I've been putting a house fund away for the past 2.5 months or 3 months, whenever I found out about it. and I'm up to $800 or $900 that I have for Murphy stuff. So the first thing on the list is going to be a wood stove, but it's also the other thing on the list is going to be, I don't have to buy any piping. There's so much piping downstairs for vents and stuff like that. I might have to buy a few Sawzall blades here because I'm gonna have pipes going everywhere. Airflow. I might not solve the problem, but I'll be able to manage the problem, right? And then maybe not next year. I gotta figure out. I'll make a separate video for the basement because there's just so much to discuss there. But you can seal up a leaky basement. It's just you can put a temporary fix on it or you can put a fix on it, and a fix can be more costly than it needs to be, or it can be reasonable if you're just more strategic about it. And so I could take my time just figuring out, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? The easiest way is that sealant paint. You could do it probably under $1,000, whole basement. The expensive is you're starting to get to the exterior stuff, but you have to figure out where the water's flowing exactly from first. For here, it's kind of like the house is sitting like this and it's right at the edge of a hill. So we know the water's pretty much coming right dead that way, coming right into the basement that way. It's always the same flow. But I want to see it for myself on like for example, when it was really raining, the basement was really flowing, right? You get a couple of days of dry, it stops, right? But it's when it's flowing, that's when you get all that moisture and that stinkiness and the moldiness and the must, But you can, again, you can find a way to deal with it. And if you can't stop it, you can dam it with I've seen people, it's like, oh, it's just basically caulking. Go right where the worst of the leak is, and you just route it to, rather than let it run across the floor, you just route it through a little kind of pipe right out to your sump. It doesn't stop the problem, but it diverts the problem. Again, you got to get creative, but I've seen some really creative stuff. So I'm gonna leave that here because I do got to get some work done. I haven't done anything yet. I'm just kind of, because I haven't really been able to assess the place fully because I had to wait for my brother to kind of be out of here enough that I could actually come down and start crawling through things and stuff like that. When people's stuff is still there, you don't want to be crawling through it and whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get that done. You start sweeping. There's a lot of dog hair in here. Oh, the other thing too is my brother, because he was worried about mice and stuff. He's taken it off there now, but the floor. This is another thing I need to show you. Airflow. So you got a floor vent there. You got floor vents all over the place, right? Now, most of those were closed off. This one here, okay, closed off. That one's completely plugged, okay, because of mice and stuff coming up through and other things. Maybe not that vent, but some of the other vents. A lot of mice in this place for sure. Yeah. But this vent here, he had this one completely closed off, also to keep the smell out, right? So, basically, in a nutshell, that meant no flow, by blocking these off, those vents off, okay, that meant the moisture can't escape the basement at all, right? There's just no flow in the place, right? So I'm going to open up everything. I just open up everything. Because I'm not going to be down here for the worst of it, you know what I mean? You open up in the first week, like, oh my God, it's so musty in here. And then about 3 weeks later, with the windows open and fans blowing and everything like that, it starts to slowly dry out. Maybe not all the basement, but most of it. But more importantly, you're getting fresh air down in there to get the mustiness out. You have to. If you don't, well, again, this is one of the things. Now my brother and I have talked about it and stuff like that, but he was just like, no, I give up. Because it's fine. Like, the only thing I'm worried about is that, I get it sort of solved and it's pretty good and it's awesome down here. You get the wood stove. Maybe I want to move back down there again. Nope. Once I'm down here, that's it. I'm sure he won't. Like he's always wanted to build his own place just up on the hill too. Maybe he'll start going that direction. I don't know. We'll see. You know, I'll try to plant some ideas in his head. You know, just keep him motivated. You know what I mean? But I think you know, so far, between my dad and I, we kind of lucked out because my sister-in-law can cook much better than my dad and I can. So yeah, the meals for the past 3 days have been really good. So enjoying that. And the only thing is, I got my nephew. It's like, no, you got to contribute. You want to wash the dishes or dry the dishes. If she's cooking, yeah, Grandpa's doing this. You got to so. So 12-year-old boy, right? So it's like he's like, okay. It's like, yeah, but yeah, we'll make a ritual out of it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. But yeah, so I am stoked. Okay, enough blogging. This is one of the reasons I didn't want to bring my camera down, but I couldn't wait to make this video for you guys. Because I thought it was going to be, I don't know how many of you will watch it all, but I know some of my longtime subscribers might watch it all. But guys, 3 years. The outside work starts tomorrow. I got to take a whole bunch of pictures of the place just so people could see the before and the after. And I think you guys, when you see the kind of work I do, you're going to be like, this is kind of like a perfect project for a guy like me, you know? And you're probably going to look at it in 3 years and go, oh my God, how did he do that? Don't worry, because everything I do, I'm going to film it as much as possible, right? Because I can film at random, because I'm the only one here, so I can make as much noise as I want. You know, it's going to be noisy in here. Not too noisy, because I can't take off my... one of the reasons for the soundproofing is going to be for my drum kit, because I don't know how my aunt and uncle over there are going to tolerate the double bass drum. So he's shaking my fucking house. He's driving us nuts. The cymbals. That's why I decided to put the drum kit more on this side of the house. It's a drum kit. Doesn't matter where you put it. It's loud, but mainly. But it you know, like, I'm not gonna play it hours and hours on end. But, you know, when I go to record, I can do that. So anyway, I'm going to get to work. I got lots of stuff to do. I'm going to get this couch out of here maybe today. And start getting some stuff in here. But I think I want to sweep and do a few other things first. First off, airflow. All right, anyway, there you go, guys.